Suspense is killing me. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of well-written taste. I've been around for a long, long years. So many men, so many faith. I was around when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and pain. Made damn sure that pilots washed his hands and sealed his fate. Pleased to meet you, hope you're my name. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my name. Come on! I stuck around St. Petersburg when I saw it was time for a change. Killed the Tsar and his ministers, Anastasia screamed in vain. I wrote a tape, held generals pray, while blitzkrieg rage and bodies stay. Pleased to meet you, hope you guess my name. Oh, what's disturbing you is the nature of my name. While your kings and queens fought for 10 decades, all the guys they made. I shouted out, who killed the Kennedys? When after all, it was you and me. So let me please introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. Well, I can transport troubadours who get killed before they reach my way. Go on, everybody. Of my game, Dr. Eric Sargent. Oh, yes. Center, Lakeshore Professional Voice Center, World Voice Day Concert Celebration. We're so happy to be back at the Baltimore Theater for another year. We have a host of incredible performers tonight, all willing to share their talent and their stories with you. Our hope at the end of the night is that maybe you learn to cherish your own voice a little more. And hang on to those voices because we're going to need them at the end of the show. Thank you. Good night.
All right. Oh, good. All right, well, welcome, everybody. Not a bad way to start the show, right? Welcome again. Let's have a hand for the rest of the musicians in the band Identity Crisis. They're listening to the program. Two were left out of that list there. Miss Alyssa Paczkowski, who was over here on the end, and Neil Jupe, who was banging on the bongos. I think they're bongos or something. Now, I realize that from the looks of us, one might conclude that a better name for the band might be Midlife Crisis. We thought about it, but you know, our plan is just fun, having fun playing. We might try to raise money for some charitable organizations, so if any of you have any fundraisers, you need some entertainment, we're happy to participate. And I will tell you, I debated on the opening number. It was either Sympathy for the Devil or The Devil Went Down to Georgia. And I'm not quite certain why I have such an infatuation with songs about the devil or involving the devil, but I'm working it out with my therapist, so we'll get this right. Yeah, something like that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is World Voice Day. Actually, it's not. It was April 16th. It was a month ago, but it was the only night I could get into the theater. And that's okay, though. It's the gift that keeps on giving. This is a time where we think about what life might be like without a voice. How would our lives be affected without it? We all tend to have at some point taken our voices for granted. But how would you read to your kid? How would you whisper sweet nothings into your loved one's ear? Or enjoy singing or praising at your church or temple? And this is a time that I encourage all of you to cherish your voice and think of things you could do to maybe help preserve its quality for a lifetime. Now, on that note, I realize that many of you will want to hoot and holler tonight for these amazing performers. And it would be somewhat ironic if we had a vocal injury out there, although I do have appointments open on Friday. So here's our first audience question for the night. We'll have a few through the night, and feel free to answer with applause. What are some good ways to increase the volume of your voice? You can applause or boo, depending on whether you think it's right. Squeeze your neck and face muscles as tightly as you can and as you shout and spit blood. This is a smart crowd. Use increased breath flow and support. Nice one, nice. Use an amplification system like a microphone. Yes, nothing wrong with that. Actually, I encourage all teachers in the classroom to get one because it's a very challenging profession and it can be a career prolonger. So this is also a time to recognize that changes in vocal quality that persist for more than several weeks could be a sign of a major medical issue, even cancer. And in fact, this day was started in Brazil to raise awareness of laryngeal cancers. Cancer of the vocal folds will present early with changes in voice quality. So if you don't assume you have laryngitis for 6-7 months, the diagnosis can be made earlier, leading to a much better chance of beating it and maintaining a good, serviceable voice. Now, most changes in vocal quality are not due to cancer, thank goodness. They're related to some sort of vocal trauma, misuse or abuse of the voice or overuse. But even early recognition and treatment of benign voice problems will usually result in a better, I like that kid's voice actually. It's good. We encourage that, by the way. There's no problem with that. Will usually result in a better chance of voice recovery than if you delay the diagnosis. The biggest thing to avoid from that perspective is vocal fold scar, particularly deep vocal fold scar. So really any change in vocal quality over a couple weeks should be evaluated by an otolaryngologist. And if you're a professional who's dependent on the voice, high quality of the voice, such as a singer, teacher, public speaking, auctioneer, the threshold should be a bit lower for having the vocal folds visualized. So anyway, that's enough boring stuff. I apologize. I want to do a few thank yous before I forget, and I guarantee I will forget somebody, so I apologize to that person in advance. I want to thank Judy Olds. Judy created this beautiful program, gorgeous program. She came to a concert, was inspired, and offered to help. I always offer to pay her, but she always tells me to just make a donation for laryngeal or esophageal cancer, and I would encourage any of you who feel like doing that, it would be a noble cause. I also want to thank David Newman, Jeremy Ramsden, and Core Litigation for always coming and videoing our show. David Monahan and Matt Mays from Evola. They always donate this beautiful electric upright. If you ever need a piano, you've got our piano there. They're incredible. They're so knowledgeable and helpful. So I encourage use of Evola. And I also want to thank Joey Joachim from Hello Innovations. He's donated this incredible video crew as well. They do amazing work. Hello Innovation is for those of you who don't know, is like a technology think tank in Detroit, and he is a brilliant guy, and they're just doing incredible things. And last but not least, I want to thank all of the performers that you see on stage, or you're going to see on stage today, all of whom are volunteering their time and talent to celebrate the voice with you tonight. And yes, this is my favorite night of the year. Not just because I get to perform and relieve my years of repression as a frustrated actor and singer, but because we get to celebrate voice recovery with people that we have had the privilege to care for, both of those you'll see on stage and those of you in the audience. But I don't want you to come away after hearing all these great voices thinking that the evening's message is that these are the only voices that matter. Everybody's voice matters. Imagine what your life would be like without your voice. Hopefully, you'll just be inspired by these voices to care more about your own. So, without further ado, let's start the concert. Well, let's continue the concert. I do have one more disclosure I always make. This show is essentially unrehearsed. There's no fancy set changes. Things might go wrong. There might be a memory slip, usually on my part. And so just go with it, enjoy it, laugh, clap, offer moral support, anything you want to do. So we're going to bring back out Identity Crisis and listen to the mellifluent sounds of Dr. Robert Fishman, pediatric otolaryngologist and rock star. And I think Dr. Fishman's the only other performer who's been in every World Voice Day concert we've had for the last 13 years.
Good evening, welcome. I'm going to do a song tonight by Josh Ritter, who I'm sure probably nobody in this audience has ever heard of, but that's okay. And my grandkids are here tonight, so it's dedicated to Ellie, Liam, and Alana. Lost my mind, I could not believe it. Holy hell, you could have struck me dead. But preachers with a grapevine blood told me you were coming home. Let's see where the night takes us. Let's see where the night goes. I know it's been slow going, pay your bills and still they owe you. North Way with the best they plan. This is me, and that's who I am. Take the round and I pay my dues. Meet up with friends and I dream about you. Isn't much, but it's still alive. Sometimes sunny is to get lost in the long night. Old cars, back roads in the boneyards. Drop the pedal like a holy roller. Sheriff of hell couldn't pull you over. Tough girl, the bad town. Caught up, now stay down. Sweet tea, white lightning, breaking hearts. Then I find it. Come on in, it's so good to see you. It's been so long, I know why. Let's see where the night takes us. Let's see where the night goes. Let's see where the night takes us. Let's see where the night goes. Another way I'm feeling. Oh, let go the great highway. So relax, you're astounded. Feel the pulse of the world pounding. Feel the pull of the American darkness. Mountains of rivers and fields of harvest. It's all we have and that's the life. Come on, honey, let's get lost in the long night. Old cars, back roads in the boneyards. Drop the pedal like a holy roller. Sheriff the hell will pull you over. Tough girl, bad town. Stay down. Sweet tea, white lightning, breaking hearts. And I'm finding, come on in, it's so good to see you. It's been so long, I know why. Let's see where the night takes us. Let's see where the night goes. Long night, old car, back roads in the boneyards. Drop the pedal like a holy roller. Shake the hell, throw you over. Tough girl, bad sound. Brought up, not to stay down. Sweet tea, white lightning, breaking hearts. And I'm minding, come on in, it's so good to see you. It's been so long, I know why. Let's see where the night takes us. Let's see where the night goes. Long night, old cars, back roads and the boneyards.
Awesome job. This next young lady is coming back for an encore performance. She debuted last year as a young girl and now is performing as a young lady. It's incredible. I got to see that over the past year. It's incredible. And here she is, Miss Hallie Bond.
I'm so unhappy, left all alone.
Anita Kudla is a wonderful, wonderful person, a singer-songwriter, and I'm thrilled that she's making her debut here. She actually is a great example, it's in the program so I can talk about this, of someone who had a problem with her voice through no fault of her own, and it turned out to be the result of a not overly common medical condition. It used to be called Wegener's granulomatosis. I won't even say the new word because it's even longer. Once we figured that out, we were able to recover her voice again with some assistance from good rheumatologist, Dr. Barron, who I think's wife is in the audience tonight. So here she is for her Voice Day debut, Anita Kudla.
Thank you so much. I am very excited to be here. This is, again, my first time here. It's been about 5.5 years since I first met Dr. Rubin, Dr. Fishman, and then about 5 since I met Dr. Barron. What I'm so appreciative is Dr. Rubin ran point on everything. He got me to the right people at the right time. I'm sitting in his office. He's texting, he's calling, he's answering his phone just out of surgery. Just amazing care. You just don't find that. And so I've been able to get that amazing care from the entire team of physicians that he's brought into my life. So anyways, the song that I'm going to perform is the second out of 4 bouts of crusting on the larynx that I was diagnosed with. I called my then boyfriend. He's since been upgraded to husband. This is about 5 years ago, and I called him and I said, I was crying, and it came back after antibiotics. It came back, and by the time I got home, he had words written down, and it took me about 2 years to put music to it. And he said to me last night, I said, I know that this song always makes you cry when I sing it, but why? And he said, it's because the words he wrote came true. This is called Open Doors. Now these doors all are open, but I can't walk through, because these evil monsters have attacked my soul, have attacked my soul. Oh, take a look at the open doors. Oh, now these doors all are open, but I can't walk through. I have to battle the monsters, have to heal my soul. Oh Lord, heal my soul. Oh, take a look at the open doors. Oh, yeah. Oh, now these doors all are open, and I'm ready to walk through. I've battled all the monsters, I've strengthened my soul, strengthened my soul. Oh, take a look at the open doors. Oh, yeah. Oh, now these doors all are open, and I'm walking on through. Oh, I'm ready to shine now. Take a look at the open doors.
Thank you, Amanda. That was wonderful. So for a little change of pace, Miss Amanda Lipari playing with, first of all, let me just take a second. The accompanist that you hear on piano for most of the singers is Mr. Wayman Ezel. If we could get a big hand on this. Miss Lipari is going to play with her husband, who's also a phenomenal pianist, Joseph Lipari. And Amanda is an incredibly talented woman. She had an illustrious career in opera early on. She changed directions and became a teacher, school teacher, and I think is a great example of even with this tremendous training in voice and experience, she encountered the challenges of teaching for 8 hours a day, which is quite a phenomenon. And the majority of teachers don't get the kind of voice training. It's a very challenging profession, so we encourage them to. So in any case, without further ado, Miss Amanda Lipari.
I'd like to thank Dr. Rubin for having me here tonight. It's been probably 15 years since I've sung this kind of music in front of a crowd. And he is partially responsible for me being here tonight and helping me recover my voice after quite a bit of use in a secondary career. I want to thank Jean Skeffington, too, who's sitting in the audience and is going to sing later. She was my speech therapist for a couple of years and just did amazing things to help me recover, learn how to speak a little bit better in class, in front of a class of 31st graders. And she's just recently, in the past year, been my new vocal coach, so I want to thank her as well. The aria I'm going to sing for you tonight is from the opera La Rondine by Giacomo Puccini, and it is called La Canzone di Doretta, and since it's an Italian, I'll explain a little bit about what it means. In this scene, the main character, Magda, is at a very lavish, fancy party, and her friend, Prunier, who's poet, is in the process of writing a song, and he's sharing it with the group, and he stops in the middle and says, I just don't know how to complete this. And drawn to the table because Magda is in search of her own true love, she says, I know how to finish it, and she scoots him off of the piano, sits behind the piano, and she rapturously completes it with her own verse that has a personal meaning for her, in which she says, crazy love, crazy intoxication. Who could ever guess that a kiss that's so subtle could bring about such passion? And she goes on to say, what is the importance of riches as compared to the happiness that love can bring? Oh, dream of gold to be able to love like this.
so before I introduce the next performer, who's going to take a little bit of time to set up here, we're going to have an audience competition. I need 2 people from the audience who know musicals. Is there anybody out there willing to play? No, you're not allowed to play, Miss Skeffington. Anybody else? Come on up, stand up, I can't see. So if you are, first 2 people up here get to play. No pushing, no shoving. 2, I need 2, just 2. Come on, you get to be on stage. This is your chance, Rubin. All right. Oh, this is tough. This is tough. Okay, come on, we'll try it. All right, so last year I played a game called Name That Musical, and we did very obvious things. We sang Oklahoma from Oklahoma, guys and all. So this year's a little more challenging. No, you don't have to sing. You don't have to sing. I need Jean. Oh, she came up. Okay, so each of us is going to sing a couple lines from a song, and whoever raises their hand first gets to answer it. You ready? Where are the rest of my team? They're so naked. Jean, you here? Okay, good. All right, I'll go first. You ready? No, you stand right there. You're perfect. I've never been in love before. I thought my heart. Perfect. Okay, that was a good one. From Shandor. All right. Give her a chance, by the way. Give her a chance. All right, here we go. Austin, your turn.
We'll test this first.
Oh, we need a mic. Here, come on. I can come over there. All right, come over here.
All right. Come in the front. Musical. All right. Whew. All right, here we go. And when push comes to shove, I will send a fully armed battalion to...
I'll be there. Yeah.
Yes!
All right, Juliana, you're up.
Okay. This one's easy. I don't know how to love him.
And last one, Miss Skeffington.
I'm gonna wash that man right out of my head.
I can do another one. Ready?
Try to remember that kind of September.
All right, that was very good. In honor of being in our city of Detroit, we're going to give you M&M. So, Trish, you got your first pen. Peanut afraid. All right. All right. Fasten your seatbelts. I'm warning you now because this guy can rock like no other. Pastor Thomas Ray is an incredibly passionate. His family's in the audience. That's lovely. No, okay. Passionate, spiritual guy. Really just lights up the room when he comes in, and has been doing clergy and musical directing now for 17 years, right? And I will tell you that clergy have incredible vocal demands. Another profession you might not think of, but they're talking and singing for hours on end, and it's really a 24-hour gig in many cases. So there are challenges involved, and he's faced those, and now he is going to show you what he's got.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Dr. Rubin. I'm blessed to be here today, not only to perform in front of all of you, but the fact that I have the ability to do so, with thanks to Dr. Rubin and his wonderful, awesome staff. Let's give them a hand. Here he is. So, about a month ago, I dreamed this melody that you're going to hear in just a moment. And it's pretty rocking. You might wonder, what in the heck is this guy dreaming about? But it's pretty rocking. And I woke up and began to write the lyrics to this song. And as it turns out, this song is about forgiveness. And you ever heard that musical? They were talking about musicals. Just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. Well, that's what this song is going to do. It's going to be some rockin' music, but some medicine for our soul tonight. And it's to challenge us to forgive. About 3 years ago, my sister was killed in a hit-and-run accident. And it took the grace of God for our whole family to forgive this man that killed her. And I just got to tell you that I'm living on the side of free and no longer in bondage, holding bitterness in my heart for something someone else did. And I challenge you tonight to listen to the words of the song. And in fact, I'd like for you to join me in this song tonight. If you could, say, I'm letting go, oh, oh. I'm letting go, oh, oh. All right, you'll be able to join in with me. Need a little more volume in the stage monitors here. All right, there we go. We're going to rock now. Hold on to your pins and needles. Amen. Hallelujah.
Somebody do to make your face turn red. You're holding on, wishing they were dead. Bitterness has a hold on you. You must decide what you're gonna do. Though you did me wrong, I will be strong. I forgive you. What you tried to do, what you put me through, I forgive you. What you did was low, but I'll let you know it won't affect me. I will be free, no more hating me. So why don't you join me and let's let it go? I made up my mind, and I am letting go. It's time to let it go. Forgiving them will make you stronger. So open your heart and let love in. You're not gonna win, though the road is long and very hard. So I forgive you and I'm letting go. Though you did me wrong, it won't be long. So I forgive you and I'm letting go. Give me slow, but I'll let you know it won't affect me and I'm letting go. I will be free, no one hated me. So why don't you join me? I made up my mind and I am letting go. So many faces, so many lies, so many fake people with their foolish disguise. But there's no way I'm gonna let them get me down. And I choose to forgive and turn my life around. Come on. Though you did me wrong, I will be strong. Say I forgive you and I'm letting go. What you tried to do, what you
told you. All right. So our next performer, he has graced us with his presence on several Voice Day concerts before. It's Mr. Jim McCoury. He's got an amazing voice, an amazing sense of humor, an amazing personality, and it's good because it all makes up for his very average looks. And I had to make fun of him before he made fun of me, because I guarantee it's going to happen. So here he is, Mr. Jim McCoury.
Just tell me where to go. Good evening, everybody. Yeah, I gotta do a little IT work here, so you'll forgive me, but I gotta tell you, I'm tickled pink here with Dr. Rubin.
Actually, Jim, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that.
Dr. Rubin earlier said you were here to hear our songs and our vocal
Not yours.
technique.
Not yours. Stop.
Yeah, but you said we could tell a story.
Yeah, but
I didn't know.
I think they're just waiting for you to say.
So I got a story when we were in Vegas, Adam and I, one time.
Definitely not that story.
7 years. Let me tell a story.
No. That stays in Vegas.
I'll show you the pictures. Just go to AdamRubinInVegas.com. I'll post them. Trust me, you're going to want to see these. But as everybody has done here this evening, we'd like to thank Ruby for all he does for us and all he continues to do for people with vocal affliction or whatever else that might be medically wrong. And he's been an amazing doctor, friend, and person to all of us. So, Ruby, cheers to you, pal. My song is a little different here. I'm going to tone it down a bit. Although I couldn't tell our story about Vegas, I'll tell you a story about a guy who ends up down on his luck with a dame, goes into the bar and drinks himself into a little oblivion. And this story is thank God it's not close to my heart, but I'm okay with that. But it's something that, it tells a story. I hope you enjoy it. So here it is. So set 'em up, Joe. I've got a little story I think you'd like to know. We're drinking, my friend, to the end of a brief episode. Make it one for my baby. One more for the road. I've got the routine. Put another nickel in the machine. I'm feeling so bad. Can't you make the music tell you a lot, but you've got to be true to your code. So make it one for my baby and one more for the road. You'd never know it. Boy, I'm a poet, and I've got a lot of things that I'm gonna say. when it's gloomy, Joe, just listen to me till it's all talked away. Well, that's how it goes. Joe, I know you're getting so anxious to close. Thanks for the cheer. I hope you didn't mind my bending your ear. But this torch that I found, how it's gotta be drowned, or it soon might explode. So make it one for my baby, one more for the road that long, it's very long. It's a long, 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 long road. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Rubin, I'll take it over to you.
Thanks, Jimmy. All right. Well, actually, I did forget one thank you, and you'll see some guys floating around, Jonah and Evan from Hello Innovations, and they're doing an amazing video, which I can't wait to see after all this is said and done. So those are the people flying around with these cool-looking cameras. So in any case, this next young lady who's going to perform is a great talent. She is entering her 4th year at Oakland and studying to be a music educator, and I am envious of her future students because she's going to be dynamite. She's also a neighbor, and here is Miss Lillian Queen.
We met, of all places, in front of Mercedes, some freakishly cold winter's day. I had on several unflattering layers of wool. He slipped on the ice with his grocery bags full, so I rescued some Fruit Loops he dropped by the curb, and he made some remark that my smile was superb. I thought that was sweet, and I started to go, and he said, "Hey, what you doing tomorrow? Because I'll be here at the corner of Bleecker and Mercer tomorrow at 7. If you want to meet up, I'll be waiting right here. And in case there are 2 fellas waiting for you, my name's John." He waved and then he was gone. Needless to say, I went back there to meet him, mostly to see if he'd show. And there he was, out in the cold, with his jacket pulled tight. He took me to dinner and kissed me goodnight. Next week we went to this terrible play, and the week after that drank hot chocolate all day. And suddenly, 8 or 9 months had flown by, and he said, "Hey, what you doing the rest of your life? Because I'll be here right beside you as long as you want me to be. There's no question, there is nothing I've wanted so much in my life. This might sound immature, but I'm totally sure you're the one." And we had just begun. We got hitched in September, our favorite month, with a rock band that played in this old synagogue. And we bought an apartment on West 17th Street and talked about children and getting a dog. Our first anniversary came in a flash.
sirens and saw all the smoke. So I'm running back home with this feeling of dread. To the voicemail he left, and the last words he said. I'm sorry, I don't mean to ruin your evening by bringing up all of this stuff. You're probably wondering why I even called you tonight. Today something happened that spooked me all right. I discovered his Fruit Loop still there on the shelf, and I started crying, couldn't get a hold of myself. Unsure as I breathed, I heard John clear as day saying, hey, you're allowed to move on. It's okay, because I'll be here. Even if you decide to get rid of my favorite sweater, even if you go out on my birthday this year, instead of sitting at home, letting all of life's moments pass by, you don't have to cry, because I'll be here when you start going back to the places we went to together, when you take off my ring and you let yourself smile, when you meet someone handsome and patient and true, and he says that he wants to be married to you, when you call him one night and he meets you downtown and you finally answer him yes. Yes, Jason, I will marry you. I will give you my heart. It has taken so long, but I'm ready to start. Right now, John's whispering congrats in my ear, 'cause I finally let myself tell you that I will be here.
Another thing I learned about Lily during this time in social media was that she knows just about everybody in the state of Michigan. I mean, I think she has fewer degrees of separation than Kevin Bacon, I swear. Okay, well, we're going to bring out Miss Jean Skeffington. Jean also had an illustrious operatic career years ago, and then she saw the light and entered the world of voice pathology, and does a phenomenal job doing it. And here she is, Miss Jean Skeffington.
Is there one low enough? Well, before we begin, I'd just like to say a little bit about this piece. Have you all heard of Phantom of the Opera? This is not from them. It's from a musical called Phantom, which was written by Maury Heston, words and music, and the book by Copton, Arthur Copton. It was begun to be produced for Broadway in the 1980s, and then Andrew Lloyd Webber put one on in England, and then announced that he was bringing his to Broadway, and the backers pulled out of Yeston's Phantom. But the show itself is fabulous. It's more along the line of operetta. The characters are similar, almost all the same. It's all based on the book, more closely based on the book by LaRue about Phantom of the Opera. And the character that I'm going to be singing tonight is the diva, the opera house diva, the lead soprano, Carlotta. And Carlotta finds herself in her new Paris opera home, and she has something to say about how she fits into it.
Where does the time fly? Simply too few hours in the day. Oh, a diva's work is never done. No relief, no time for fun. Not if
treat from a 16-year-old Detroit celebrity, Miss Leah Catallo. Leah plays all over Detroit. She's a singer-songwriter and has even played in Cleveland at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's also the daughter of one of Detroit's best voice teachers, Miss Jennifer Kinzer. And yeah, we're in for a treat. Here we go, Miss Leah Catallo.
Hello. So I'm going to do an original song for you that I actually wrote about a year ago. And it's just, I went on a mission trip, and when I got back, I was just totally inspired, so I wrote this song. Before I start, I want to say a quick thank you to Dr. Rubin and Juliana for everything that they've done for me. So this is called Searching. You found hope in a hopeless place. You found my heart and wanted a cave. You eased my mind when I couldn't think. You took my soul and made it clean. You calmed the seas when they were raging. You took my heart when it was caving. But all the lies you told us you condemned. You sold my heart back to wood. You took my broken and now it's gone. But all the lies you told us you condemned. And now I'm yours. I won't ignore your love. Now I'm yours. I won't ignore your love. And I'll follow you to the truth. Yeah, I've been searching, I've been searching. I've been searching, I've been searching. In your love, you fulfill my love. Yeah, I've been searching, I've been searching. I've been searching, I've been searching. I was weak, you strengthened me. The brokenness I didn't need. All the lies you told us you condemned. You took my heart and made it clean. You took away what I didn't need. All the lies you told us you condemned. And now I'm yours. I won't ignore your love. Now I'm yours. I won't ignore your love. And I'll follow you to the truth. I've been searching, I've been searching. I've been searching, I've been searching. In your love, you fulfill my love. Yeah, I've been searching, I've been searching. I've been searching, I've been searching. You found hope in a hopeless place. You found my heart when I wanted a cave. But all the lies you told us you condemned. Thank you very much.
Edmund Gay is going to sing for us now. Edmund is an English and theater teacher at Avondale High School, and he is former, sorry, you got fired? What happened? No. He has done, he did remarkable things with that program. They won numerous awards, and you'll see why in a moment. He also wants me to mention he has 2 CDs that he made of religious music, and he sells them for charity, and he'll be selling them after the show.
and he is going to donate half the proceeds to organizations which research laryngeal cancer treatment. So.
Hey, Dr. Rubin, we're going to do a quick sound check here. Quick sound check. Ready? Cool. That one works. Wait. Wait. It's not doing anything. Wait. Okay, there it is. Hi, I'm sorry for the delay there. It's just, as Dr. Rubin said earlier, this is so rehearsed. Very excited. I never really get nervous when I perform. I've been hamming it up since I was a kid, but I'm nervous tonight. And not because of you. I love audiences. I'm nervous because of people in the wings. Between Dr. Rubin and Juliana and the entire staff at Lakeshore, I just want to make you proud because you did a miracle with all of us tonight in restoring a gift that God gave us. And it's only fitting and proper that we share it. As Dr. Rubin indicated, I retired from teaching, from 35 years of teaching high school theater, speech, and English last June, and I was really looking forward to doing some of my own stuff, you know, instead of directing kids, to do my own theater. And about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, I was singing to my grandson, my wonderful 5-year-old grandson at the time, he's 6 now, Quincy. And when I sing him to sleep, I'm always singing in falsetto, and my falsetto was disappearing, and it was getting ugly. And he said, "Pa, clear your throat so you can sing better." And I realized I couldn't. As much as I cleared my throat, I couldn't sing. So after running out of air during rehearsals with the kids and all the other kind of stuff, and not being able to sing anymore at church, which was a real devastating thing, I finally went up the ladder and ended up in Dr. Rubin's office. And he found some polyps on the vocal cords, and I was terrified. Because I was flashing back to about 15 years ago when a student once asked me, "What's the worst thing that could ever happen to you, Mr. Gay?" And I said, losing my voice. You know, I'm a teacher, I'm a singer, I teach public speaking, I'm a director, I cantor at church, Yay St. Hugo's. I do all that other stuff. And if that was taken away from me, what's my identity? So I was terrified to go under the knife, and what was even more terrifying was that I had to be absolutely silent for an entire week. Which my wife, who's here tonight, loved, but since we were also closing the deal on selling and buying houses, she had to do all the talking. She didn't like that. She'll be in the back tonight selling the CDs, so we hope that you'll. The CDs are religious music sponsored by my St. Hugo folks, but this one's from Broadway. The song that I'm going to sing tonight was actually the last song that I sung before the surgery. It's from the musical Children of Eden, written by Stephen Schwartz, the creator of Wicked. And this happens in Act 2, when Noah is very confused about issues. He's having problems with his son. And it's actually a duet sung with God, who's the character that I played last summer in the last show that I did. And last summer I got a chance to sing this song with my son. And so it has a very special place in my heart, and for the moms and the dads and the kids out there, this one's for you, ladies and gentlemen, from Children of Eden, The Hardest Part of Love. Son of mine, I love so well, oh, the toll it takes. I could give to him a garden and keep it free of snakes, but the one thing he most treasures is to make his own mistakes. Oh, he goes charging up those cliffs of life, a reckless mountaineer. I could help him not to stumble, I could warn him what to fear. I could shout until I'm breathless, but he'd still refuse to hear. Oh, 'cause you cannot close the acorn once the oak begins to grow, and you cannot close your heart to what it fears and needs to know, that the hardest part of love is the letting go. As a child I found a sparrow that had fallen from its nest, and I nursed it back to health till it was stronger than the rest. But when I tried to hold it, it pecked and it scratched my chest till I let it go. And I watched it fly away from me with its bright and selfish song, and a part of me was cursing I had helped it grow so strong. I feared it might go hungry, and I feared it might go wrong. Oh, but I could not close the acorn once the oak began to grow, and I could not close my heart to what it feared and needed to know, that the hardest part of love is the letting go. And it's only in Eden grows a rose without a thorn, and your children start to leave you on the day that they are born. They will leave you there to cheer for them, and they will leave you there to mourn ever so. Like an ark upon uncharted seas, their lives will be tossed, and the deeper that your love for them, the crueler the cost. For just when they think they found themselves is when you fear they're lost. Oh, but you cannot close the acorn once the oak begins to grow, and you cannot close your heart to what it fears but needs to know, and that the hardest part of love and the rarest part of love and the truest part of love is the letting go. Letting go.
A lot of letting go tonight. What do you guys think of the backdrop? I did it myself. It took me forever. No, I'm just kidding. This is the backdrop for Annie, which, by the way, is playing here, I think, through June 3rd. And the Baldwin Stagecrafters does amazing work. You should all come and see their shows. All right. Well, this next woman comes all the way from New York City, where she is making noise, both literally and figuratively, on the streets of New York and working for her Broadway career. And here is Miss Caitlin Reel.
Hello. Yes, I just moved to New York City recently, and Dr. Rubin and all of the voice team helped me get my voice back from finishing my 2 undergraduate degrees at Central Michigan University with quite a bit of damage by the time we were done, because teaching and performing takes a lot out of your voice if you're not careful. And they helped me pretty much start back over from square one with absolutely no damage, and I'm forever grateful for them. A little bit about the song. I'm not 51 yet. So this is a little bit later on in my performing career, but it was too good a song to pass up. My parents must have thought they had a crazy kid, 'cause I was one of those kids who always knew what I wanted. They took me down to the airport to see all the planes departing, watching them fly. Something inside of me was starting. I was 8 when I told them that I'd be a pilot. But I was too young and too short, and there were no female captains, and my dad said, be patient, he said, just see what happens. But I took my first lesson, came down from the sky, and told my father I'd fly for the rest of my life. Then I got my first job, flying for a mortician in a tiny Bonanza, just a corpse and me. $5 an hour for flying dead bodies. I had to climb over their faces just to get to my seat. Suddenly the wheels lift off, the ground is falling backwards. I am suddenly alive. Suddenly I'm in the cockpit, and suddenly everything World War II pilots, they all complained. They said girls shouldn't be in the cockpit. Hey lady, hey baby, hey, why don't you grab us a drink? And the flight attendants weren't my friends back then, and they said, are you better than us, do you think? But I kept getting hired, and the World War II crew, they retired, and the girls all thought much higher of me. 1986, the first female American captain in history. Suddenly I'm in the cockpit, and suddenly I've got my wings. Suddenly all of those pilots protesting me while they can get their own drinks. Suddenly there's no one saying stay grounded, looking down, passing them by. Suddenly there's nothing in between me and the sky. Suddenly I've got an all-female crew. The news caught, it made headlines across the world. Suddenly it stopped, no one's saying you can't, or you won't, or you know you're not anything, 'cause you're a girl. Suddenly I'm getting married, and we're putting pins on the map where we've flown. Suddenly I am a mother, and suddenly shocked at how much they've grown. Suddenly I'm wondering how my parents would feel seeing me teaching men to be pilots, 'cause suddenly I am a senior instructor, and somehow I'm 51. Suddenly I'm flying Paris to Dallas, across the Atlantic and feeling calm, when suddenly someone on air-to-air traffic says at 8:46 there's been a terrorist action, and the one thing I loved more than anything was used as the bomb. Suddenly I'm in a hotel. Suddenly something has died. Suddenly there's something in between me and the sky.
Wonderful. So one of the greatest things about being a physician is to get to share in the journey of your patients. Sometimes that journey can be quite difficult. If any of you have been to our Voice Day concerts over the last 13 years, you've seen Miss Anna Warner perform and heard her story of how she has battled and continues to battle a very aggressive thyroid cancer. She's 10 years from the original onset. She's continuing the fight. And she really defines the word courage and inspiration, and she's inspired me. And she has been sharing her voice when both of her vocal folds have been paralyzed, for one reason or another related to the cancer, and now continues to have one of her vocal folds paralyzed. She continues to bless us with her voice and inspire us all. And here she is, Miss Anna Warner.
I'm not supposed to cry before I start singing. But yeah, it's been 10 years, 3 cancers, and 10 years later, I have cancer again. But I'm so grateful for everybody. There's nothing like the warmth of a summer afternoon. Waking to the sunlight, being cradled by the moon, catching fireflies
being so in love, you can hardly eat. Dancing in the dark when there's no one else around. Being bundled neath the covers, watching snow fall to the ground. Thank you, Lord. How could I ask for more? So many things I thought would bring me happiness. Some dreams that are realities today. Such an irony, the things that mean the most to me are the memories that I've made along the way. So if there's anything I've learned from this journey I am on, simple truths will keep you going. Simple love will keep you strong. Because there are questions without answers, flames that never die. Heartaches we go through are often blessings in disguise. So thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. How can I ask for more?
That was incredibly brave. Like I said, that's exactly who she is. And thank you, Anna, for sharing that with us. All right, this next dynamic duo, brother-sister combination, are making another encore performance here. They were really incredible, Anita and James Newby. And I always tell the story that I met Anita early on in my career, and when we started the Voice Day, I would get a note on my desk saying, Anita Newby wants to perform at Voice Day, but it would always be right after I already had the program, and I couldn't really remember who she was. So I didn't know, you know, and then we encountered each other again later on, and I said, oh my gosh, yeah, you definitely are going to sing at my Voice Day, and now I basically beg her to sing every year. So here she is with her brother, Anita and James Newby.
Always an honor, always a privilege to be here because our voices are so precious, and it's something that you don't recognize how precious it is until you can't use it. One of those many, many things that we take for granted. I had a situation, I had a couple of situations, but the last situation I had, I was hoarse and I was at work, and you know, I just was hoarse. I couldn't get my voice back, and I went to the doctor on my lunch hour. I went to Dr. Rubin on my lunch hour, and I had a hemorrhage in my vocal cord. So there was a tear, and he immediately put me on vocal rest. So I went back to work, and I was like, so basically I was just off work for quite a while. I think it was about 3 weeks. It was terrible because I couldn't talk. It was just terrible. But it caused me to realize how much we use our voices and how effective our voices are. And I do a lot of different things. I'm a praise and worship leader. I do a lot of theater. I do newscasts sometimes. So just random things. And there's so many things that you use for your voice for. But I'm so grateful that we are here and that I have my voice. And I'm thankful for this beautiful team of people who work together to make sure that we have the vocal health that we need, you know. And my brother is also a patient of Dr. Rubin. I won't tell his story, but we're just very grateful in our family for what has been restored through our voices. So tonight I'm going to sing for you I Wonder Where Our Love Is Gone. I had the privilege of playing the incomparable Billie Holiday in Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill. This is one of the songs that I was exposed to and have fallen in love with and cannot stop singing ever since. All I know is I'm in love with you, even though you say that we are through, 'cause I know without your love I just can't go on. I wonder where our love has gone. Always thought you loved me more and more. Never dreamed you'd ever let me go. 'Cause I know without your love I just can't go on. I wonder where our love has gone. What did I do? And what did I say that ever could lead you to treat me this way? If I've been untrue, I'm willing to pay. But darling, if that's not enough, I'll do anything you say. So, darling, please, wherever you may be, hear my plea and hurry back to me. 'Cause I know without your love I just can't go on. I wonder where our love has gone. Well, what did I do? And what did I say that ever could lead you to treat me this way? If I've been untrue, I'm willing to pay. But darling, if that's not enough, I'll do anything you say. So darling, please, wherever you may be, hear my plea and hurry back to me. 'Cause I know without your love I just can't go on. I wonder where our love has
All right, well, it's time to bring the band back on. I had to change wardrobe into my more rock and roll appropriate shirt. 313, you'll notice.
I told you, midlife crisis. All right, so we're just going to play straight through. We won't interrupt in between. Let me just tell you who's singing. Austin Collum, who's one of our phenomenal voice pathologists, will be singing the first tune, followed by Miss Alyssa Pajikowski, who's a wonderful singing teacher and used to work at Lakeshore in our file room, but she found bigger and better things to do somehow. And then Miss Juliana Codino will be accompanying me in Meant to Be, which also all of you will accompany us as well as you join in on the chorus. So don't worry if you can't carry a tune, just sing loud and proud.
I see you driving out of town with a girl that I love, and I'm like, forget you. I guess the change in my pocket wasn't enough. I'm like, forget you and forget her too. Said if I was richer, still be with ya. Ha, oh, ain't that some shit? Although there's pain in my chest, I still wish you the best with the forget you. Well, I'm sorry, I can't afford a Ferrari, but that don't make me get you there. Yes, she's an Xbox, and I'm more Atari. But the way you play your game ain't fair. I did the fool, wrong enough you are. Well, got some news for you. Go and tell your little boyfriend I see you driving around town with the girl that I love. I like forget you. I guess the change in my pocket wasn't enough. I like forget you and forget her too. Said if I was richer, still be richer. Oh, ain't that something? And although there's pain in my chest, I still wish you the best with the forget you. Now I know that I have to borrow, make it feel like just trying to keep you, trying to please you. 'Cause people love jokes and cheap. Now I can take a fool from got some news for you. I see you driving around town with the girl I love. I'm like, forget you. I guess the change in my pocket wasn't enough. I'm like, forget you and forget her too. Said if I was richer, still be richer. Oh, ain't that something? Sure, though this pain in my chest, I still wish you the best with the forget you. Now, baby, 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 why you wanna hurt me so bad? I tried to tell my mama, but she told me this is one for your dad. Yes, she did. And I'm like, oh, why? Why, baby? I love you. I still love you. Forget you. I guess the change in my pocket wasn't enough. I'm like, forget you and forget her too. Said if I was richer, still be richer. Oh, ain't that something? Although there's pain in my chest, I still wish you the best. Forget you.
Hello. How is everyone? Oh, is everyone alive out there? Just kidding. I'm I'm Alyssa, and a member of Identity Crisis. I've been singing at World Voice Day for, I kind of forgot how many years. It's been a couple. And Dr. Rubin, we started this band, and he loves it. He wants to quit his day job. He knows it. I'm in 2 other bands currently, and I do teach voice lessons. I also work at a gym. I'm kind of tired sometimes. That's okay. So we're going to do just another one. Okay. At first, I was afraid. I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. And so you're back from outer space. I just walked in your body here with that cell phone face. Should've changed that stupid life. Should've made you leave the key. If I'd have known for just 1 second you'd be back to bother me. Going out love, walk out the door. Just turn around now. 'Cause you're not welcome anymore. What you want trying to hurt me with your body? Do you think I'd crumble? Do you think I'd lay down and die? Oh no, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I've got all my life for you. I've got all my love for you. I'll survive. I will survive. Hey. It took all the strength I had not to fall apart. Kept trying hard to mend the pieces of my broken heart. Though I spent so many nights feeling sorry for myself, I used to cry. But now I hold my head up high and you see me, somebody new. I'm not that chain of little persons in love with you. And so you felt like dropping in and just expect me to breathe. Now I'm saving all my loving for someone who's loving me. Going out there, walk out the door. Just turn around now. You're not welcome anymore. But you don't learn to try to hurt me with your fire. Do you think I'd crumble? Do you think I'd lay down and die? Oh no, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I've got all my life for you. I've got all my love for you. I'll survive. I will survive. I will survive. Gone now, girl. Walk out the door. Just turn around now. You're not welcome anymore. What you try to hurt me? Why you got to let go? You got to lay down and die. Oh no, not I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I've got all my life for you. I've got all my love for you. I'll survive. I will survive. I will survive. Okay, so you've heard a lot of songs tonight. Broadway, classical, rock. But we haven't heard one that just is about the fiddle. Would you please play us a song that just involves the fiddle? Do you guys want just like one more? This is not rehearsal, I swear.
All right, well, this is the other devil song. The devil went down to Georgia, and he was looking for a soul steal. He didn't mind, and he was way behind, and he was willing to make a deal. When he came across this young boy playing on his fiddle and playing it hot, and the devil jumped up on a hickory stump and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. I guess you didn't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And if you care to take a dab, well, I'll make a bet with you. Now you play pretty good fiddle, boy, but I'll give the devil his due. I'm gonna fiddle to gold against your soul, but I think I'm better than you." The boy said, "My name's Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet, you're gonna regret it, I'm the best that's ever been. Johnny, rising up your bow and play a fiddle hard, cause Elbow beats the Georgia and the devil deals the cards. And if you win, you get the shiny fiddle made of gold, but if you lose, the devil gets your soul." The devil opened up his case and he said, "I'll start this show." And fire flew from his fingertips as he roused up his bow. And he drew the bow across the strings and it made an evil hiss. And a band of demons joined in and it sounded something like this. Johnny said, "Oh, you're pretty good, old son. Well, sit down in that chair right there. Let me show you how it's done." Five mountain cowboy, devil's in the house with the rising sun. Chicken in the bed, back, pick it up. Bring it to the dog, like no child, no. Well, the devil got his head because he knew that he would beat, and he laid that shiny fiddle on the ground in Johnny's knee. Johnny said, "Devil, just come on back if you ever want to try again. I done told you once, you son of a bitch, I'm the best there's ever been." He played five mountain run, boys run. Devil's in the house with the rising sun. Chicken in the bed box picking up. Don't cry, no child, no. Welcome to World Violin Day. It was great. Well, now I'm going to do my tambourine solo again, and that's all right. All right. Well, guess what? This is the ultimate song, the last song, and I'd like to bring everybody who's performed tonight up on stage to join in. And this is a fairly new song. Hopefully, you've been listening to Hits One. Hopefully, you have kids who insist on listening to their radio station every time they're in the car. And sorry now. So it's a fun song, but you'll catch on. It's an easy melody, and you'll come in with the chorus. And I want to thank you all for coming tonight. I know that you've been moved, hopefully inspired, hopefully you're going to think about your own voices and how important they are to you. And don't take them for granted. Take care of them. Baby, lay on back and relax. Kick your pretty feet up on the dash. No need to go nowhere fast. Let's see
joy right here where we at. Who knows where this road is supposed to lead? We got nothing but time. Well, as long as you're right here next to me, everything's gonna be alright. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. So come on, ride with me, see where this thing goes. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, if it's meant to be. And it's easy to see. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. So come on, ride with me, see where this thing goes. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. So come on, ride with me, see where this thing goes. So come on, ride with me, baby, if it's meant to be. Maybe we do, maybe we will, maybe we won't. But if it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. If it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, just let it be. Come on, so won't you ride with me, see where this thing goes. Cause if it's meant to be, it'll be, it'll be. Baby, if it's meant to be, or if it's meant to be, it'll be. Baby, if it's meant to be, if it's meant to be.